What's happening in L2G community? How's everybody doing out there? Hey, so I thought I'd do something different for this video. I wanted to give you my top van life lessons so far. We're 4 years into this. We're rounding up 4 years. Going to hit our 5th year next year. I just wanted to give you my top lessons. I know Susie has hers. She's probably not going to be in the videos for a couple more weeks because she's working a lot of hours. So maybe we'll do a part 2 with her. So let's get down to it. My first top lesson that I know Susie probably feels this way too. We had to learn right away when we first started 4 years ago. We packed up the van, went down to South Padre. We had beginner's mindset. We were excited and went in thinking that we were on vacation. So lesson number 1, you are not on vacation. This has now become our life. But we went down there and just, went to coffee every morning, went to happy hour every night, having a blast. Life is great. And then, before you know it, you're blowing through all your money. So we definitely had to figure out how to have that beginner's mindset, but not blow through the budget. And so, yeah. Not on vacation. Probably took us, I don't know, a couple months to figure that out. So that's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2. This was. I mean, these lessons are all challenging and really create growth. This one was about perception. Lesson number 2 is how am I being perceived in the van? And so. Am I perceived as homeless? How am I, just perception. And what was even more challenging was in the beginning, not now, and it's been great going through this journey, but in the beginning, when we are in the cities, we're hanging out at city parks and stuff like that. So a lot of times you're amongst the homeless at these parks. And so, oh my gosh, it kind of freaked me out in the beginning. Like, am I being perceived as homeless? Are people going to approach me as homeless? I don't know, it just really freaked me out. Should I be afraid? But guess what? And this was a deep journey to look within, because I come to find out that I'm like acting all righteous, better than the people around me in the park. And I just really worked on my soul and on my spirit and did a journey there. And if it wasn't, Susie, she'll tell you her own journey with the homeless, but she really challenged herself and challenged me to go up and interact and spark a conversation and sit down and ask 4 simple words. Tell me your story. Which works with anybody, by the way. Just tell me your story. And just sit eye to eye and really come to realize, hey, we're all human. And nobody's better than the next person. And so there's a little bee. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. He's landing on the phone. But anyway, nobody's better than the next person. And we weren't threatened by any homeless. We've sparked some great conversation with homeless, and come to find out just some of the absolute nicest people that we could run into. And now we enjoy it. We don't seek it out, but if homeless are around us, we're just a little bit more aware and see if we can help them out, see if we can spark up a conversation, listen to their story. People want to be listened to. People want to be understood. And so clearly we've come a long way in this, because one of the reasons we hung on to our house was because we had such an issue with saying we live in our van or travel in our van. We wanted to be able to say, oh, we do this part-time, and then we have a home base, and it just really needed to feel comfortable with saying we had a home base. Well, we sold that this year, so I almost brag about living in the van full time. And I really don't care how people perceive me. If I do, if it keeps in my mind, I just check myself. But I don't. I mean, travel in a van. I'm houseless, not homeless. But either way, doesn't really matter. We're all people trying to make it in the world. And so just, yeah, strike up a conversation with a homeless person. Step out on a limb. People want to be heard. Okay, number 3 top lesson. And it took me probably the second year to figure this out. And I'm still figuring it out where this lies. But gotta have an emergency fund or just a fund for the van itself. We knew this going in. I did a lot of research before we decided to do van life. I knew I needed to have a van fund set aside, but it's more than you think. Much like your house, unexpected expenses come up. So you just got to have that fund. You know, we set a certain amount. I had the oil changes, the tire rotations, all of that kind of maintenance stuff fund, plus a little extra. But we lost our transmission in year 3, I think it was. We want to add stuff to the van as we live in it longer. There's things we want to add. And so, more power, a little extra fridge, that kind of stuff. And, yeah, I mean, just got to have that van fund and double what you think it is, maybe even triple what you think it is. Because if you don't have that going in, it's going to ruin van life for you for sure. And you're going to go running back home like hating van life. So that emergency van fund is key. So those are my top 3. Let me run down a couple. I have them hanging right here. A couple of them that aren't my top ones, but definitely lessons. You can never have enough water. Got to always be searching for water. You don't have that steady supply that you have at home where you turn on the faucet. You got to fill your jugs. You got to have enough water. Okay? So that's probably number 1 on my mind when I'm driving around. You can ask Susie. I'm always looking for a water spigot. Always looking for a hose. Looking for a lot of parks have spigots. Laundromats have spigots. We just ask if we can do it, and everybody's been great. Even Lowe's or Home Depot, they've been great about filling up our jugs. We don't have water tanks by intentional choice, so filling up a few jugs usually doesn't present a problem to people. They say yes all the time. Another lesson, you don't need as much as you think on the road, that's for sure. I mean, we packed heavy the first year, a little lighter the second year, a little lighter the third year, even lighter the fourth year, and now we're in the middle getting ready for the 5th year, so we take everything out of the van, and we're going through everything before we put it back in, and I'm sure we're going to drop a couple things off. You just don't need as much as you think you do in van life. And you're comfortable, and you're happy, so even relieved. Yeah. Rainy days are tough. I did not know this going in. Rainy days are hard, especially during COVID year. Rainy days were hard because you couldn't go in anywhere. You had to sit in the van. So we're still trying to figure out rainy days because, like I said, we don't want to go to a coffee shop every time it rains and spend money on coffee. I enjoy my own coffee. Actually, Susie and I gave up coffee this year, so I said switch to saying tea. That's what we drink. But rainy days are tough. Tough. A lot of times I think about, well, what do I do if I'm at home? Oh, I'd be sitting in my house watching movies or something like that. And so we just got to get in that mindset. Like we just sit around, watch movies, watch TVs, which is hard for us because we're out in nature and we like to be out in nature. So still figuring out rainy days. And then, of course, I'm sure you guys know this, but it's worth repeating. It's not all picture perfect out there. It's not all those pretty Instagram photos. You have those rainy days. You have the city days. So when we go into the city, we go out into the wild, so to speak, for 4 or 5 days. Then we like to come back in and reconnect with society or that community. And so a lot of times you're city stealthing, or you're staying at Walmart, or you're staying at a Cracker Barrel, or you're paying for a campsite close to town. So it's just not all picture perfect, but these days they're not bad either if you go into it knowing that these types of days will happen. But I'm telling you what, so far for us, the good days outweigh the bad days, and we just are having a blast out here. When we get tired of it, you know, we'll pack it up, settle down somewhere. So there you have it, LTG. There's my top van life lessons. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, you know, feel free to ask any questions. And until next time, keep on living your good life. And much love.